An old man was walking along a beach one early morning. There had been a storm the night before, and he noticed that the whole beach was covered in starfish as far as he could see in all directions. He also noticed a young girl walking towards him. Occasionally, she would bend over, pick up a starfish, and toss it into the ocean. "What are you doing?" the man asked the girl. "Throwing the starfish back into the ocean. The starfish can't get back into the ocean themselves, and when the sun gets high, they will die, unless I throw them back into the ocean." The old man replied, "There must be tens of thousands of starfish on this beach. I'm afraid you won't be making a difference." The girl simply smiled, picked up another starfish, and tossed it into the ocean. "I made a difference for that one." This story really sums up how I see the world. The starfish story is a really good metaphor for the many issues facing the world. Many people, like the old man in the story, think that the problems are so big, so overwhelming, that we can't make a dent. But like the girl in the story, I believe that we can make a difference, one action at a time. And the equation I'm about to share with you will help you when you come across your starfish. Now, don't worry. When I say equation, I promise this isn't math homework. This is an equation that makes it easy for anyone to start changing the world. Issue plus gift equals change. And just like in math, it's easier if we tackle the equation in units. So let's start by talking about the first unit, issue. That's where my story got started, and so did the stories of some other amazing people that inspire me. I found my passion for the environment pretty early on. I realized that the animals that I loved relied on us to take care of the earth. And right now, we are doing a very good job of taking care of it. So my first starfish was the environment, and many of the actions that I take to change the world are connected to taking care of the earth that we all call home. But your issue can be something totally different from mine. It can be something that you see every day, like discrimination based on your gender or bullying. Or it might be something that affects people that you don't even know, like homelessness, access to clean water, education. It might be something that affects people all over the world, or an issue that is specific to your community. It's also okay to have more than one issue that you care about. I care about all of these things. The more people I meet, the more active I become as a global citizen, the more issues I discover, and the more motivated I am to change the world. If you aren't sure where your issue is, here are a few things to keep in mind. Number one, look for inspiring people that can help you learn more about your issue. Find a role model. Your role model might be someone that you know, like a teacher or coach. It might be someone who has added their voice to a cause or issue that you care about. Or it might be someone who has paved the path that you want to be on. I have role models in each of these categories. 2, make sure you do your research. It's important to know what the problem is and what other solutions might already be out there. There are tons of organizations and resources out there to align yourself with. 3, recognize when the status quo isn't okay. Just because things have always been that way doesn't mean that that's the best way they can be. If something bugs you, that could be your issue. 4, look for opportunities to learn from other people. Sometimes hearing a person's story or seeing their experience will give you a better understanding of an issue. Okay, back to the equation. Issue plus gift equals change. Okay, so we've tackled the first unit of the equation, the issue. Now, let's move on to the second part, the gift. Because if we want to change the world, then we're going to need to do more than find an issue that we care about. We need to figure out what we can do, and that starts with finding a gift that we can use to help us make a difference. I realized really early on that my gift was communicating, and my blog was where I started to put my gift into action. My gift of being a good communicator has grown to include using my voice through public speaking and social media. A gift might be something that you're good at or that you like doing. It might be a skill or a hobby or a resource. It might be something that you do for fun in your spare time. Or it might be time that you have to give. There are lots of different gifts, and everyone has one. Isabel uses her gift of art to make personalized pet portraits and raise money for her local rabbit shelter. At 4 years old, Emily is donating her hair to make wigs for kids going through cancer treatment. Sarah loves to bake and has raised more than $15,000 through bake sales for a hospice in her community. Sophie, Amber, and Kiara are 3 high school students from Ireland. They put their gift of being great at science to good use and won top prize at the Google Science Fair for their project addressing food security. So when you're thinking about your gift, remember the following things. Number 1, choose something that you're good at and something that you enjoy. Whether it's science or music or art or writing, your gifts lets you change the world, so enjoy doing it. 2, remember, gifts don't have to be talents. They're anything that you could do to make the world a better place. 3, just like you have more than one issue, you probably have more than one gift. Okay, so we're clear on how to find an issue and that everyone has a gift. Issue plus gift equals change. We're almost there. Now we just have to get to the fun part, change. But let's pause for a second. Because I bet that there are people out there that think that if changing the world were that easy, everyone would be doing it. And while I've surrounded myself with people who inspire me, who believe in me, who encourage me, I've also heard from people who have been skeptics. So over the next little bit, let's talk about some of the myths that people have about changing the world. Myth number 1, changing the world takes big actions. Little actions can't change the world. A lot of you might be thinking, Hannah, small actions are nice, but they certainly don't change the world. None of us can change all of the issues that are facing the world today. But the little things that people do for me make a big difference to me. So I try and pass those on. It's my way of throwing starfish back into the ocean, one at a time. And I bet that if everyone cleaned up one park, stopped using bottled water, or helped a kid in the schoolyard, the world would be a much better place. Myth number 2, you're just too young to make a difference. I get this one a lot. People say that I should be playing with my friends, worrying about my math homework, that changing the world is for grown-ups. Be a kid, they say. Sometimes, I wonder if I should believe them. I mean, the issues that we've talked about so far have been pretty big. But whenever I think that, I remember that I'm not the only young person who's changing the world. Not even close. Craig Kielberger was only 12 when he founded Free the Children, and his first action was a bake sale. Flash forward 21 years. Free the Children has now built over 650 schools, donated over $16 million in medical supplies, provided over 1 million people with clean drinking water, and so much more. Malala Yousafzai was only 17 years old when she was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. Michaela Uber was only 10 when she was awarded a $60,000 investment on Shark Tank for her business, Be Sweet Lemonade, raising awareness and funds to support honeybees by selling lemonade. Zuriel Adewale was only 12 years old when her self-produced documentary about inspiring African stories was screened in 5 countries. So I'm definitely not too young to change the world. And if being a kid is about having fun, well, I get to have fun while I'm changing the world. Myth number 3, changing the world is expensive. It takes a lot of money to change the world. I bet when a lot of you think about making a difference, you think about donating money to a cause or fundraising. Sometimes that feels like the type of change we hear about the most. And sometimes that makes it hard for people to feel like they can be involved in changing the world. But the donations that people need aren't always money. For example, my friends at my karate dojo and I collected canned goods for Free the Children's We Scare Hunger campaign, which helps to support local food banks. I also organized the shoreline cleanup with a bunch of my friends and family members. It's easy. All you need are some garbage bags, some gloves, and you can clean up an area in your environment where you live for free. Also, it's a lot of fun. You can also donate clothes, toys, or household items to a shelter or organization that helps those in need in your community. I bet lots of you have clothes that you hardly ever wear, and toys that you've outgrown by now. If they're still in good condition, You can pass them on to someone who will really enjoy them, which, by the way, is way more eco-friendly than just throwing them out. There are lots of ways to change the world without money. Myth number 4, small actions are nice, but they don't lead to a big impact. Some people think that small actions make a difference, but that it takes a big idea or a revolutionary impact to change things in a big way. A lot of change makers don't start out with the goal of just changing the world. Sometimes their idea or their action just grows. I want to tell you about my friend Travis. His story is going to pull this all together. Travis did start out on a global initiative. He set out to change things for one person on one day. It doesn't sound like the kind of thing that you would read in the newspaper or see on TV. It just seems like a nice thing to do. To understand why Travis's actions became so much bigger than he ever imagined, I want to try some show and tell. I want you to stand up if you know someone who has been bullied, if you have ever seen someone being bullied, or if you have ever been bullied yourself. Go ahead, get up out of your seats. Take a look around you. It's overwhelming, isn't it? That so many of us have been touched by bullying. 1 in 3 Canadian students are bullied. 1 in 3. So you can see why bullying is such a big issue. You can all sit down. Travis's story actually has its beginnings as someone else's story. A boy showed up for his first day of grade 9. It's kind of a big deal. First day, grade 9, in a new school with so many new people. You want to make a good first impression. You want to look good. You want to be cool. His day didn't go as planned. He found himself to be the target of a group of boys who called him names and threatened to beat him up. Why? Because they didn't like his pink shirt. They tormented him, followed him around all day. It sucked. Fortunately, this didn't go unnoticed. Travis and his friend DJ were in grade 12 and had seen things like this going on in their school for years. Enough was enough. This wasn't the kind of legacy they wanted to leave their high school with. So they went to the store and bought 50 pink t-shirts. When they got home, they emailed everyone they knew and asked them to email everyone they knew. They said, "Tomorrow, we are creating a sea of pink. Wear pink to stand with this boy. Wear pink to stand up to the boys who bullied him. When we stand together wearing pink, the bullies will be forced to step down." The next day, Travis and DJ showed up wearing pink, and they saw that their message was heard. Hundreds of people showed up wearing pink. When that grade 9 student walked in and saw everyone in pink, he smiled and he sighed. He knew that everything was going to be okay. He was not alone. Travis saw that bullying was an issue in his school, and his gift was standing in solidarity with one person. And that's probably where Travis thought his change was going to stop. But it didn't. Today, the pink shirt has become a symbol against bullying all over the world. It is a day where we come together, creating a sea of pink. Pink Shirt Day empowers us to stand up against bullying because we do it together. It reminds us to be better people and create better, safer, and more inclusive communities. Yes, Travis was not a leader. He was not popular. He was not one of the cool kids. He was just an ordinary young person. He put our equation to use. When I started my blog when I was 9 years old, I could not have foreseen that I would be here today. What began as a blog where I was exploring how we can live lives that are more eco-friendly has grown to include other issues like literacy, bullying, and access to education. Through my blog, positive presence in social media, and public speaking, I hope to inspire people to recognize that they can do something. So taking what we've learned, we can now put some of those myths to rest. Number 1, small actions do make a big difference. 2, you're never too young to change the world. 3, changing the world doesn't always take money. Sometimes it's donating something as simple as your time or your hair. Us environmental types, we call those renewable resources. 4, you never know how far your change will go. Something that seems so simple at the time can turn into something bigger than you ever imagined. Issue plus gift equals change. It works. You know how there are some things that you learned in math that you're pretty sure that you'll never use in real life? This formula is one that you will use again and again. You'll never be too young, too old, or too anything not to. Now that you know the formula, you can put it to use and start taking action. Find your issue, match it with your gift, and boom, change. Remember, no action is too big or too small. Everything that we all do counts. Community is important. None of us can throw all of those starfish back into the ocean alone. We have to do it together. I want to leave you today with a quote that inspires me on my path. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. Thank you.